What's up guys, Noelle here. Apologies in advance for all the street noise you might hear. I'm in Boston right now, and Boston's a very busy city, so a lot of people are out on the roads. There's currently a traffic jam on my street right now, so that's cute. But today's video, since I'm turning 20, I thought I would share with you 20 life lessons I've learned in 20 years. Now I'm still 19 right now, but literally the day that this video goes up, I will be 20. I'm not a teenager anymore, but I'm still young and I know almost nothing, but I know some things. I have very minimal life experience, I guess, but I'm gonna share that with you guys. First one, it's better to just cut off toxic people. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, than to stick around in hopes that they'll change. Because I had a toxic friend in 8th grade and I was like, okay, maybe she's just going through a rough patch, maybe she'll change. She just got more and more toxic, and me trying to wait on her to go back to the way she was before was just even worse. It's better just if somebody's becoming toxic and it's starting to take a toll on your brain, just cut them off. They're not even worth your headspace at all, so just bye. Next up, don't try to get romantically involved with someone you don't know that well. This might seem obvious, but I did make this mistake right after I graduated high school. That's a whole nother story for a different video, but it's just not a great idea, you know? I'm a firm believer in like being friends before you date somebody, because if you don't know them that well, if you are dating them, then you're gonna find out things about them that you may not like and that may be a deal breaker, and same on their end, and it won't last. I mean, it could last, it could end up really well, but it's advisable that you get to know each other on the friendly level before trying to date. That's just a hello. That's a better idea. Next up, you don't have to be friends with your ex. I feel like society puts a lot of pressure on like, oh, stay friends with your ex, like it's healthier that way. Not always. I mean, if you want to be friends with your ex and if that's not taking a toll on your mental health, great. That's amazing. But if sometimes the reason you broke up is something that's just unforgivable, and being friends, there's just that strain that will never go away. And if that's the case, then you totally don't have to be friends with them. You can totally cut off contact and just never speak to them again. That's totally fine. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Next, you absolutely need to put on lotion immediately after shaving your legs. Like as soon as you get out of the shower after shaving your legs, put on some freaking lotion. Because not putting on lotion causes a lot of skin dryness and it just feels terrible. And I found that putting on lotion after I shave makes the hair grow back a little bit slower. Like my legs are smooth for like a whole nother day compared to if I don't put on lotion. I understand if you're too lazy, I get that too. I totally am like, oh, I don't feel like putting on lotion. I just put all that effort into shaving. But believe me, you gotta. Next up, sometimes you just can't have the things you want right when you want them. In my case, when I graduated high school, I really wanted to go to college here in Boston. And then I couldn't do it because it was too expensive. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do 2 years of community college and then I'm gonna come back up here to do my studies. Still can't afford it, still can't do it. So I'm definitely not gonna be able to move up here as soon as I want to be able to, or as I wanted to rather, because it's just too expensive. Sometimes, like, I mean, you sometimes have to make sacrifices for what you want, but sometimes the sacrifice is just way too big for the moment. Like, I can't really shell out $70,000 a year just to live up here. So yeah, sometimes you want something and you can't have it right away, but one day you'll get it, or maybe you might change your mind and you'll want something else that's a little more attainable in the moment. So there you have it. Next up, try to embrace the things that you don't like about yourself. If you can change something about your appearance and it's relatively easy to do and not gonna break the bank, then I would say do it. But if that's not a thing, like if you, I don't know, if you want a nose job but you can't afford it, try to just embrace the way your nose looks, I guess. That was just an example I came up off the top of my head. But if there's something that you don't like about yourself that you cannot change right away or easily, then just try to embrace it. Try to be like, hey, my nose looks fire. I mean, that's how I achieved an actual state of self-love. I just saw the things I didn't like about myself and I was like, you know what? This is just me. This is just how I am, whatever. Cool. Easier said than done, I know, but you'll be a lot happier in the long run if you just do that. Next up, expect respect from authority figures. Sure, they have maybe higher education than you, maybe they're more experienced than you, they're higher up the corporate ladder, whatever the case may be, the reason that they're higher up than you, but you're not their puppet. You're still a human being, and they have to respect you. Like, they're not allowed to treat you like crap. That's not their right. And if that's happening to you, don't put up with it. Like, you should expect authority figures to respect you. Never allow a higher up to treat you like crap. Ever. Next up, roach killer is an absolute necessity. If you're moving out anytime soon and you're looking at your grocery list of things that you need for your new place, add roach killer to that thing, because seriously, that's something that's overlooked until there's a roach in your house. And then you're like, well, crap, what do? I guess some brave people would smush it with like a shoe or a napkin or something, but for those of us that are squeamish, you just spray it and it kills it instantly. And that's a beautiful thing. So you absolutely need to have some of that in your house. Trust me. Next up is nobody has life figured out. Even most adults, nobody does. Nobody knows what they're doing. They're kind of just flying blind and doing what works. That's the way everybody functions. I remember even being like 15 years old and thinking 20-year-olds were all like, had life figured out and everything was great. And now I am basically 20 now and I'm like, well, I still don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I kind of have a path, but I am navigating through whiteout conditions right now. So if you just get it into your head that nobody really knows what they're doing, then it's just, you know, you feel a little less alone in life, I guess. Next up, learn to accept the things that you can't control. If there is something that you can do to bring change to something that is not right, absolutely do it. But there's just gonna be some things that are just not within your realm of control. And in that case, just learn how to accept it and adapt accordingly. Being adaptable is a huge asset, I've learned. If you can adapt to the situation, life will be a little easier. Not easy, but a little easier. Next up, you do not have to put up with horrible periods. If your periods are making you bedridden, dizzy, nauseous, and just making it really hard to function, or even if it's not and you just hate it, you don't have to put up with it. Like, literally, there are options to make your periods less miserable. Like, don't ever think that your debilitating cramps and heavy flow have to be your life. It doesn't. I used to deal with that stuff when I was in high school. I was just the most miserable periods in the world, and I was like, well, I guess this is just part of being a woman. Then I got on the pill and experienced an easy period, and I was like, girl, why didn't I do this like 5 years ago? Not saying the pill is the right choice for everybody, but there are options to make your periods less miserable. Next up, it's okay to be caffeine dependent. I feel like a lot of people look down on caffeine dependency. I know the majority of the American population loves their coffee, but there are some people that are just like, oh, if you're caffeine dependent, then you're basically a druggie. It's true, caffeine's a drug, but it's like the least harmful drug you can be addicted to. Like, caffeine actually helps me to focus better and to be more alert, and as a person with ADHD, that helps me tremendously. I mean, if you're drinking like 6+ cups of coffee a day, that's probably not a good idea, but if you need a cup or two of coffee in the morning and then another one at 3 p.m. to help you get through the workday, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Excuse the demon in my radiator. It's been there all week. I don't know what is going on, but whatever. But next up is puberty is just an awkward time for everybody. It's filled with people at all different stages of development, and a lot of self-comparison. The important thing to remember is that everyone will finish puberty and be fully developed, and none of those aspects will matter to anybody. I have a more detailed video on this also on my channel. I'll put it in that little card thing up there. But everybody feels awkward going through puberty, girls and boys alike. But you'll all be fully developed one day, and yes, you'll still all be different, but it won't matter anymore. Like, other things will take precedence over how deep your voice is if you're a guy, or how big your boobs are if you're a girl. Like, it doesn't matter once you hit my age, actually even younger than that. Like, I'd say 17, 16 even, I don't know. Well, yeah. Next up, exercise and eating right is really important. I know a lot of people talk down on eating healthy and exercising. Like, oh, I don't like to exercise, oh, I only like to eat junk food, which is fine every once in a while. If you want to take a lazy day and eat some ice cream in your bed all day, that's totally fine, but make it a habit to eat healthy and exercise at least most of the time, because eating bad and not exercising now can lead to some health consequences later on. There's a helicopter. But starting all that stuff young, when you're 50, you'll be healthy. So yeah, try to eat healthy, try to exercise, because that's actually super duper important. Next up, if your waist is noticeably smaller than your hips by any amount, you need curvy fit jeans. I learned this actually not too long ago. I have an hourglass figure, my waist is pretty tiny and my hips are pretty wide by comparison, and I'd always buy like the regular fit jeans, the basically one size fits all. That, I mean, they're all different sizes, but they basically are made for all the same body type, and all the time it would fit around my hips, but it would be way too loose around the waist. I'd have to wear a belt all the time, and it was stupid and annoying, and hated every minute of it. And then when I went to Forever 21 one day, I was like, maybe I should try curvy fit jeans, and y'all, changed my freaking life. No more wearing belts, no more having to pull my pants up all the freaking time. Like, if you have any sort of curvature to your midsection, you need curvy fit jeans. I'm telling you, like, go out right now and get some. Next, self-awareness is invaluable, but don't get it confused with self-consciousness. I don't know, growing up, these two things have always felt the same. They kind of use them interchangeably a little bit, but the main difference between the two is that self-consciousness is more irrational and self-awareness is rational. But self-consciousness, you know, you're beating yourself up over stuff that really is not important at all, whereas self-awareness is like, you notice a character flaw about yourself and you're like, okay, I'm gonna change that. Like, they're two different things, but they can also be very similar in the brain of a young person. Yeah, I don't know if that made any sense, but definitely learn the difference between the two. Next up, do not take hair care advice from anybody who does not either have or specialize in your hair type. If the person does not have your hair type or has not studied it extensively, then they really don't know what is best for your hair. Like, that's just the truth. I have very thick, wavy hair. I don't know if you can see any of the waves. Somewhat. I mean, the wind has kind of given me a blowout out there, but my whole life I've taken way too much hair care advice from people with straight hair and people with thin hair, and ended up with a big frizz ball, because hair care for straight hair and thin hair does not work on wavy and thick hair. I mean, if those type of people do give you hair care advice, you don't have to be mean about it, like, no, I'm not doing that. You know, like, you don't know. Like, be nice about it. Just be like, okay, but don't take it though. Don't try it at home. Next up, just because you have a lot of money does not mean that you should spend it all. I made this mistake when I was in 9th grade. I had, I think, about over $300 saved up, and I didn't have a job yet because I was too young, but I had like $300 saved up from something. I don't remember what. I'm pretty sure it was legal, but I spent it all on band merch, and then realized that I only had $25 left, and that was very, very disheartening to discover. If you have a lot of money, don't just blow it all. I mean, it's okay to splurge once in a while, but save up as much of it as you can, because you really don't want to run out of that money and then be stuck. Don't do it. Next up, it really is more fun to give gifts than it is to receive them. I mean, yeah, of course receiving gifts is fun, but I think when I was about 17 or 18, I started actually buying Christmas gifts for my family members, and it's actually a lot more fun, like going to the store and picking out what you think they might like and then gifting it to them. I mean, like, it's always really fun seeing their reactions to it, like, and seeing them using it later on. Like, I got my brother a SpongeBob shirt for Christmas last year and he still wears it, and I'm like, that was from me. So yeah, if you haven't like actually bought somebody a gift, try it. You'll really enjoy it. You might get addicted to it. I'm kind of addicted to it now. And last piece, it's okay to be grossly unproductive once in a while. Don't make it a habit to do nothing every single day. Like, get some stuff done, but if you really just need a day to do nothing and talk to nobody, that's totally fine. Like, just chill, watch some YouTube, do nothing. Like, that's totally fine to do once in a while. I feel like our society is constantly like, oh, work, you need to always be working or doing something productive, blah, 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 blah. Like, if you don't do anything productive, then you're in big trouble. Like, it's fine to just take a day off and do nothing once in a while. But yeah, that was all for this video. I hope you guys liked it and found it insightful. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and follow me on all my social medias and check out my vlog channel because I'm doing Vlogmas every day until New Year's, so make sure you check that out. So yeah, that's all for today. So have a good day and adios.